Welcome to the Top Dog Mindset Podcast, where we unlock the secrets of running a successful dog training business. I'm your host, Kevin, joined by my co-host, Angel. Together, we bring you expert insights, inspiring stories, and practical tips. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to provide you with the necessary information to build a thriving dog training company. So relax, join us with a cup of coffee as we explore the Top Dog Mindset Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. Kevin and Angel here with another episode for you guys. And today we got a really cool episode lined up. We're going to be talking about marketing and a really effective technique and strategy that anybody can really implement in any service industry across any market. And that's the idea of lead magnets. So we're going to be talking about exactly what a lead magnet is and how you can use it and roll it out. So first off, before we get to that, Angel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It
Good.
is, it's a venti kind of day,
Nice.
but
Okay.
once I got that, then we're doing good.
Do you ever go Trenti, or is that just too much to you?
I have never gotten one of those. I've never even seen one of those cups.
Yeah, that's like off menu, like you're a real
Yeah.
addict, you go Trenti.
Yeah. I also think that I would probably have a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to slow down on the coffee recently. I felt like I was having heart palpitations the other day, and I'm like, why do I feel like I'm gonna die? Oh yeah, maybe because I drank way too much coffee.
A lot of coffee and no food.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Um, so yeah, let's just jump right into it. So let's talk about what a lead magnet is. So I guess I'll start out with that, and then I'll kick it over to you. And I know you have a couple different things lined up here. So
hmm
the first is, what is a lead magnet? So a lead magnet, I would define that as just an asset. Like it could be a physical thing, it could be a digital thing, that you have that your ideal clientele would want to have, right? So something like for dog trainers, a quick training on how to potty train your dog or something like that, or the best potty training schedule or something like that, right? And so what you can do is leverage something like that. And a really good place to use it is on like social media, but people use it on their websites too. And to get people to opt into, it's all about opting in. That's really what it comes down to. So people use it to opt into like an email list, right? So a lead magnet could be on your website, a newsletter, right? And, give us your email here and we'll opt you into our monthly newsletter. On social media, it could be creating a post that's like just created a 5-step guide on the best way to potty train your dog or get them to stop going to the bathroom in the house, right? Comment below if you want it. And so, or, what's really good to do is like give them a keyword to type in. So like comment me below if you want it. And people will just start commenting in the comment section, me. And then from there, what you can do is kind of start poking around and saying like, hey, I'm gonna let me go get that guide for you. I'll send that right over to you. In the meantime, like, is potty training the only thing you're kind of really looking to do with your dog, or are you guys dealing with anything like obedience wise you would be looking for help with as well? And it can kind of open up a conversation and allow you to get a foot in the door to start talking with people. So, Angel,
hmm
what are your thoughts on it, and like, what did you kind of have lined up, and what did you want to kind of talk about as far as lead magnets for today?
Yeah, well, just to add on, like what the examples that you're going off of is, and I feel like this is a very common one that I talk to our clients about, and we even have some that are currently doing this, but
Yeah.
more like in-person lead magnets in the form of like group classes or pack walks and stuff like that. Um, and I want to get like more into the whole group class thing because I personally really like that form of a lead magnet. But and like you said before, it's about just like helping people in the moment with like something small, like you said, like potty training for puppies or um, you know, leash walking 101 and stuff like that. Like you can get creative with it, but it's not about giving away like the entire training plan. It's more so about solving like one small but also like very meaningful and valuable issue that they have going on to where they're like, holy cow, I want more.
Yeah.
And I feel like this can also be done like, or it pretty much is done in the consultation, like it's part of your sales process. But I always encourage people to work with the dog in the consultation. And I feel like you're kind of doing it there too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like you working with the dog for like one whole hour and then getting into like programs and pricing, but just having it in the consultation somewhere where you're getting your hands on the leash with the dog, even if you're spending like 5 to 10 minutes of working on, some engagement outside or something like that, especially for a dog who, as soon as they go outside, like they pay zero attention to their owner.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
like I said, just like something little that helps them in the moment and is like meaningful for them and makes them feel like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We haven't
Hmm.
gotten all the way there, but now I want more. And it
Yeah,
kind of like gives people the opportunity to like build trust within the community and start building relationships with potential future clients and stuff like that.
yeah,
And so all of that can, tie in together. Even if someone doesn't sign up, at least you started like building a relationship with that
yeah,
person and they can go on to talk about you.
yeah,
Um, and this is something that can be super helpful year round, but I think the main reason why I wanted to talk about it now is just because like it's a perfect time to start doing this kind of stuff. And in our last episode, we talked about, what was it? Like getting ahead of slow times and seasonal
right.
changes and stuff like that. So
Yep.
we're getting into really nice weather. And so it's a perfect time to have those pack walks and have like, more meet and greets or free group classes
Yeah,
or, mini seminars, things like that.
yeah.
And like really take advantage of this time of year to start getting ahead. But like I said, lead magnets in any kind of form can be done all year round.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Like being in the digital marketing world, like the term lead magnet is, or other people call it like a honeypot and stuff like that, or a two-step. But what it's so commonly used is like, I have this thing. Does anyone want this guide on how to do X, Y, and Z to raise your prices? Or did anyone want this guide to close more sales? But in the dog training world, that's possible. That's a really good idea to do that. We have a client. I always think about our client Bethany, who just destroys, like does so well with lead magnets and her group and stuff like that online. So that works. But to your point, using something like a free pack walk,
Hmm.
I think that's a really good thing and something I would advocate for every business to do. It's such good marketing,
Yeah.
especially as time goes on and it builds and a lot of people are going and people are wearing t-shirts that have your brand on it and stuff like that. Like if you invest in something like that, just give people t-shirts to wear while they're there, or, like people are always going to notice a pack of like 15 dogs walking together. People are like, what's going on here? And then they're going to put two
Hmm.
and two together, and then they're going to want to know how they can join. And then you have them come in and you build a lot of trust and rapport with them. And the easiest people to sell are the people who you've already sold, So they're
Yeah.
already like in getting a good experience in your pack walk or your group class or whatever it is. And if they need some extra help, then what you can do is move them over to a private training program or a board and train program.
Yeah. Yeah. And just on that note, to get like more into group classes, because like I said, I feel like this is something I frequently talk to our clients about when they
Yeah.
start coming up with ideas of like, what other services can I offer? Or what other types of programs can I sell? First thing that they think of if they're already doing board and trains or day trains or private training lessons and stuff like that is group classes. I think they're a good idea, and I know that a lot of people do already sell them, but I'll like plant this idea in their head where I'm like, instead of going into a consultation and trying to sell someone on a group class where, their dog is going to learn everything in this program for like a $300 group class, why not, lessen the information that you're offering in there and have it be like a free to the public kind of thing. So instead of saying like, come to this free group class where your dog is going to learn basic obedience, they're going to learn this whole list of commands and all that kind of stuff, turn it into something more like a puppy raising class,
Yeah.
or where it's like even then not necessarily even going over a whole lot of obedience, but just like more educational stuff for the client, or like a dog enrichment class where
Yep.
we're going to talk to you about things that would activities and enrichment activities that you can do with your dog that is most suitable based on their breed or like your lifestyle and stuff like that. an engagement in luring class. So all
Yeah.
sorts of ideas out there, but you're not necessarily giving away the entire program. You're giving
Yeah.
away a lot of information, but then, you know, being that they're in a group class with a professional trainer there or multiple professional trainers there, if you have employees, is if they start struggling with something, they're going to start asking questions
Yeah,
and
exactly.
saying like, hey, I can't do this because my dog is this and that. Or, hey, I'm struggling with my dog doing this at home. Do you have any tips? And then that's when you can say, well, we have actually other one-on-one programs or more customizable programs. So why don't we get a consult set up and we'll figure out something that'll work for you.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I think like I think you just said too, like you already sold them on like that freebie.
Yep.
So I think that's important, like pre-selling them on something free or getting like little yeses from them before they say yes and sell into the big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so a couple things. I think the first thing is there's a lot of people who have this mindset, and it is such a short-term, short-sighted mindset to be like, I need to get paid for everything I do in my business, right? Because what we're really talking about here is like this is not something that is supposed to be profitable. It's not direct response marketing where you're like running Google ads, somebody responds to that Google ad, they type in a lead form or call you and you're like, great, I signed them up. Like that's an important thing to have in your advertising portfolio. But what we're talking about here is how do you capture all the people in your community who don't necessarily know that they need dog training yet, right? But
Hmm.
you can kind of slowly nurture them and get them to see that they should do dog training, right? And so like that's a very different style of marketing. And it's the same thing with free consultations. When people say to me, they're like, "Well, I need to get paid for my time." I always think like you are getting paid for your time. You're not getting paid for your time if you're really not closing anybody. Like that's a fact. Yeah, that's a bummer, but that just is really eye-opening. Like you need to get better at sales. I mean, obviously a totally different conversation here, but you get paid for everything that you do in your business. Like you're not getting paid for walking into a vet's office and trying to drop off business cards. You're not getting paid for doing that free evaluation. You're not getting paid for doing um, a pack walk in the moment. But what you're
Hmm.
doing is like you're delaying the instant gratification for long-term success. And that's what successful businesses do, right? There's
Yeah.
businesses that start and like Silicon Valley businesses, and they're like, we're not going to be profitable until 2040. And that's okay because they're looking at this in terms of like the next 50 years. There's other countries that do that as well. Like I heard somebody talking about like the Chinese government. They don't think in terms of 365 days. They think of things in terms of the next 100 years. And so it's really hard to compete with a business owner when they're thinking about what I'm doing right now is laying the groundwork for
Hmm.
what's going to happen a decade from now or 5 years from now or even a year or 6 months from now. But
Yeah.
just try and take yourself out of that like immediate instant gratification. I know we all need to make money to pay the bills. Like I'm not trying to, say that that's not important, but don't not do something because you're like, I'm not getting paid for it right now. If it is going to give you a long-term return.
Yeah. And I know that's like a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow is like you're doing work for free,
Yeah.
but like consultations aren't a service that you're providing people. What you're
Yeah.
providing people or offering people is our services of dog training and doing private lessons and board and trains and all that kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
consultation is just part of the sales process to get
Exactly.
to the service portion. But
Exactly.
I totally get like feeling like you're doing all of this work and driving all over the place and not getting anything in return. But I think you mentioned Bethany, right? Her pack
Yeah.
walk. Yeah, I remember her talking about this on one of our group coaching calls. Is like I think when she first started her pack walk, she had like maybe 5 people there, and
Hmm.
it maybe wasn't even that much. And I think she's gotten up to like having 60 or even more people show up at her pack walks.
Oh yeah.
So
It's
maybe or
insane.
maybe even 90, but it's like an insane number.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too, is like just because you have this a free thing doesn't mean that like right off the bat you're going to have that many people jumping at it. Like it is
Yeah.
just like your business when you first start and you have to get your name out there. It's the same thing. Like you have to promote this. You have to be consistent with it. Like you're investing into your business pretty much to eventually turn into someone who maybe has 50, 60, 70 or more people at a pack walk.
Yeah.
And that turns into like one of your main ways of selling.
Yeah, I mean, I think about even Top Dog Advertising. When I first started this company and I started our group, the dog trainer community, there's like close to 3,500 dog trainers in there now or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there was nobody in there. And I did a live
Yeah.
session and there were like five people in there and it was the most awkward thing I've ever done. Nobody cared, rightfully so.
Yeah.
I hadn't earned it. And not that I think I've earned like all this, credibility at this point either or anything like that. But the point is like you have to start somewhere. Nobody gives a shit about you until they do.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a fact, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you're gonna have group classes, you're gonna have pack walks where nobody shows up and it's gonna be a big hit to your ego. But if
Yeah.
one like people always talk about this with social media. It's we are so distorted in how we define success. So like you look at your social media post and you get 3 likes or 5 likes and one engagement on it or something like one comment or something, and you think like this was embarrassing. Nobody gives a shit about this, right? Because you're comparing it against people who have millions of followers and get all these likes and stuff like that. But the truth is like, imagine if you were just standing on a street corner and then all of a sudden like 5 people showed up and started listening to you and like engaging with you. You'd be like, there's something here. Like there's something
Mm-hmm.
happening here.
Yeah.
And so it's so easy when you look at it in terms of just it's online and it's all about likes and views and stuff like that. And this just didn't work. Another thing that I've noticed too with social media is just because people don't like it or comment on it doesn't mean that they're not seeing it and it's not affecting them one way or another. Because I've had
Yeah.
people come to me like, dude, I've seen every single video you've ever posted. I want to work with you. I've opted into, or I've downloaded every single, lead magnet that you've ever put out there. And I'm like, I've never even seen you like or comment on a single video, you know? And
Yeah.
so it's so easy just to think that like people aren't seeing it and nobody cares. But what it comes down to is just like I'm not that special and I don't not everybody's going to take the time to like everything, but again, that just doesn't really mean it's not working.
Yeah. I mean, same thing goes for this podcast too.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was just, I mean, every podcast, like we're just talking to each other. We don't have outsiders giving their live feedback, but it was the
Yeah.
same thing. It's like, maybe a few people liked it at first. Can't really tell
Yeah.
if like they're listening initially. And not that we're in the top 10 or anything, but like
Joe Rogan, I'm coming for you.
he's gonna be our next guest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing, literally in everything that you do in life. Like you have
Yeah.
to start somewhere. As cliche as that sounds, like you really do, or you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to focus your mind on the end goal and what you want it to look like and just disregard the process to get there. And if you do that, then you're just never going to do it.
Hmm.
It's like if you want to lose 20 pounds and you just are like you do one day of dieting and you're like, "Oh, I didn't lose any weight." It's like, yeah, it's irrelevant. You need to do it for like 4 months, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm the
Or
same way. I'll work
yeah.
out for a few days and I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, like I don't look how I want to look yet after four
Yeah.
days. Are you kidding me? I give up and I'm gonna eat all the shit
Yeah.
that I want.
Yeah. Why am I not ripped yet? Where's my six pack? What the hell? This is horrible. No, totally. That's just everything in life. There's gonna be that like valley of despair of doing stuff and feel like nobody cares, nobody's listening. The only person who likes it is my mom. That's my mom, Audrey. She likes everything I do. But yeah, you just got to go through that phase and you just got to be willing to
Hmm.
like deal with the ego hit to just not be big time yet.
Yeah. And this makes me think too, like in regards to our podcast, is in the beginning, I didn't really notice how many people were really like viewing it or listening to it or liking it, leaving comments or anything like that. But like I would start to notice even being in like coaching calls with our clients where they would like mention it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
watched that one episode when you and Kevin talked about blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh,
You
you
actually listened?
you saw that?"
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's just all of that to say is like we always want like instant gratification with
Hmm.
everything, and it's just like most things in life you're not going to get that.
There's really nothing in life that is like instant gratification, you know? It just doesn't
Yeah.
really exist. Like everything that's worth having requires effort. It's just a fact, you know?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
here's the thing too, like it's so easy to sit there and watch a couple of like Alex Hormozy videos and listen to him talk, or even just any entrepreneur, you know, talk about giving stuff away for free, giving a lot of value. Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about this. And you're like, yeah, yeah, that sounds good. And then push comes to shove, and you're like, well, I'm not doing that for free. I'm not giving that away for free, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing is like I've heard people talk about this, and I do kind of agree with this. Like, there's people who say stuff like, "Well, you don't want to like give away all the information, and they just end up training their dog, and you don't get the sale." And like, okay, that can be a concern. I'm not telling you to give 6 sessions away as a consultation and train their dog. Like, obviously, that's stupid. But at the end of the day, people who are gonna buy from you, they're going to buy from you because they trust you. And a great way to build trust is to show them you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. And this fear that a lot of people have, where like they're going to give away so much value that they're going to fix the problems like to begin with, and people aren't going to buy. Yeah, that may happen, but the reverse side of that is like the other people, you're not guarding against that so heavily. And so you just come across as more genuine. You're not gatekeeping information. You're just trying to help people.
Hmm.
Like I talk to dog trainers all the time, people who have businesses that make 100 grand a month, and they're just like, I overwhelm people with information. I just tell them everything I know, and they still buy from me
Yeah.
anyway because they want to work with me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like doing the whole like online thing is something that like people often will think of like, oh, how can I make like some passive income? Let
Yeah.
me create like an online course, which I will say like there's some people who have online courses, which is like something that you pay for and you get like
Yeah.
all of the ins and outs of how to train your dog. But other things like what we talked about like with potty training and leash training 101 and stuff like that, there's so many people out there that have free courses like that. And so when it comes to like, oh, how can I make some passive income, let me just make like a little mini course and sell that and I'll just have money flowing in, like I see the idea there, but like I said, there's already so many people out there that are offering this like
Yeah.
completely free. And
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier too that and like a good part of doing lead magnets is to build trust with people, build trust within the community, start building relationships with people.
Yeah.
And that in itself could be something that people come back for. No matter how much free information you put out there, if they download every free course that you have, if they have a consult and you work with their dog and you tell them literally everything they need to do to fix whatever issue, but you still built trust and you still built
Yeah.
a really good relationship with them, then that's what's going to make them want to work with you because
Yeah.
they trust you and because you're fun and because you know what you're talking about and because they want to pay for everything you got in your brain to
Yeah.
get, personal help.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we had somebody who came to work with us two months ago, and he was referred to us by a friend of his who's in our group, and um, his business is doing really well. He didn't necessarily need any help, but I reached out to him to say thank you for the referral, appreciate you looking out for us and stuff like that. And he was like, "Thanks, man. I love being in the group." And so at the end of the day, it's not even necessarily like a one for one, like you post and then somebody comes and buys it directly. That happens, but you just never know who you're affecting and who you're helping and how they may just refer you to somebody else. Like that happens all the time too, where like people see a business card and they don't actually buy dog training from you, but then somebody else is talking about needing their dog trained. They're like, oh, I just picked up a card the other day. Yeah, let me give you their information, you know?
So are you saying that guy that referred that person to us wasn't even one of our
Not a
clients? He
client.
was just part of the group?
he's just part of our group and was just like, hey, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I love the content in the group, and yeah, I'm happy to pass your information along to anybody.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a prime example
Yeah,
of just
how it
people
works.
liking the company. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
exactly.
a similar experience where I referred someone out. Granted, I did hire them for something. It was like something for my car, like a very small, cheap service.
Hmm.
But this guy was like so accommodating. He was so kind and all that kind of stuff that I immediately ended up referring him out to
Other
people
people.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't know if he's any good at doing this other job versus this other job versus what he did for me, but just the experience that I had with him. Even
yeah,
before he came and did the job, I talked to him, and just that conversation alone, I was like, I am definitely going to hire you. So
yeah, for
I
sure.
hope you know what you're doing because now I trust you and we've already built a relationship.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, referrals can take place, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the traditional, I worked with them, delivered results, and now they're passing my information along. It's
Yeah.
just that's what kind of like guerrilla marketing is all about. It's just like getting your name out there on a local level in front of as many people as possible.
Right.
Billboards, they still work. People still do them. You're driving on the highway and you see a slip and fall attorney like has their billboard up, and you would think like, are people actually doing that? Like, do people actually call based off of that? Does that actually work in 2025?
Like,
But like,
do you actually slip and fall and then remember that billboard that you saw last week?
yeah, lots of questions to be answered here. But the point is like, clearly it does. They would not be doing it and have it up for years at a time if it didn't work. It's one thing if they
Yeah.
tested it and then you saw it come down like 6 months later or something like that. But like, you see them all over the place.
Yep.
So it's just there's so many different ways to do this, but I think the main thing is like this started with the conversation of lead magnets. Lead magnets are giving something away for free and with the intention of like the law of reciprocity that like it will come back. Yeah, you impressed by that word? I don't even that's how
That
I don't even know that's how that's pronounced, honestly.
that
I think
was
I
a good
butchered it,
word.
but it will come back to you tenfold. Like you put stuff out there and it'll come back. You give stuff away for free. People are going to get value out of it. They're going to be happy and they're going to either want to work with you or pass your information along. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity or good karma.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's effectively the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
the energy you put out there is what you will receive.
Yep.
If you're somebody who's like, I need to get paid for my time and I don't give anything away for free, you know, think about what kind of clients you're going to attract.
Hmm.
Like the inverse side of that is somebody who's like, you know, I need to see proof and I need to have guaranteed results before I buy anything. Like that type of person, which nobody really wants to work with that type of client. They just kind of seem like a difficult person. So
Yeah,
don't be
exactly.
difficult to your clients and they won't be difficult to you. I mean, that's basically what it is. I'm gonna be get that tattooed on my arm.
Yep,
All
you
right.
hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at the hour here, so we need to wrap
Yeah.
this up. But yeah, this was a great episode. So as always, we hope you guys are getting some value out of this stuff. So if you need anything at all, you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. As always, hit the like button, share this with a friend, and we will see you guys all very soon in the next one. See you guys.
Bye, guys.